Just recently, Yellow Games in France has released this set of mini games. There's 6 in all. I don't have all of them. I have number 1, this one, Hero Louis. I have this one here, number 4, which is Welcome to the Dungeon. And I also have this one here, number 6, which is Aramini Circus. What's that, you say? Well, you may have heard of this game before. It's actually a retheming of Crash Games' Yardmaster, which is about trains, and this game's about trains as well. Woohoo! Everybody loves trains. In the game, players are loading up their trains with their animals from their circus to move them to the next event. There's only one rule which applies when loading up the train, is that the previous car must be either the same colour or the same number as the car before it. So in this case, there's a 1 giraffe next to a 1 fish, and then there's a 4 giraffes next to 4 giraffes. Just think Uno. There are 2 decks of cards in the games. There is the wagons with the animals, and what you'll do is you'll place out 4 of these, like so, in the middle of the table. And then there's the animal deck, which consists of all the different animals in the game. You shuffle those, and you place 1 out to create a discard pile. The game plays from 2 to 4 players, and each player will take 1 train and place it in front of them. There's these 4 tokens, which are Joker tokens. Basically, it will let you transform 2 animals of one type into any animal of the other type. So this one is 2 bears into either a fish, tiger or giraffe, or this one is 2 tigers into a fish, bear or giraffe. So these are randomly distributed to each player. If there's less than 4 players, the other tokens get placed in the middle of the table. And then you choose who your start player is. Simple as that. Then each player will receive 5 cards from the animal deck, and then play will begin. When gameplay starts, each player will have 2 actions that they can perform on their turn, and there are 3 different actions that they can do. The first action that they can do is they can draw an animal card from the animal deck. Now they can either draw blindly from the top here, or they can take the top card of the discard pile. Simple as that. The second action they can do is they can swap their Joker token with another player, and that player cannot refuse. Or they can swap with a token in the middle, as I said, if there's less than 4 players. The third thing that they can do is they can load up their train with one of the animals. Let's turn my train round the right way, for example. So here's my hand of cards, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a fish to load up a wagon with 1 fish on board, and my train is started. You immediately replace the card like so. And how do you use your jokers, you say? Well, it's simple. I have 2 fish here. I could say that's a bear, and I've got a bear there, and I could load 2 bears onto this wagon. But unfortunately, according to the rules, this will not go on there at all because it's not the same color and it's not the same number. So you put that into your reserve underneath, and you'll have to wait until the opportunity comes up when you can, for example, say buy that one and then add this on as well. If you are the player with the start token, you get an additional action free. Brilliant, eh? So you have 3 actions on your go. And then after you've had your go, you pass this to the right. Yes, so the game's going left, but this token is going to the right. And gameplay will keep going until players arrive at loading their train with a number of animals. So for example, in a 2 to 3 player game, if anyone gets 18 points, they win the game. In a 4 player game, 16 points, they win the game. The game also comes with 10 extra special power cards which go in the animal deck. As you can see, they're the same as those. And these special cards they recommend not to play the first time, but if you're quite an experienced player, this should be a walk in the park. Basically, this one lets you draw 2 animal cards instead of 1 animal card. This one lets you pay 1 less when you load up your wagon. This one lets you exchange 1 animal as a joker with your token. And this one lets you take any card from the discard pile. Now there is a restriction to that, I'll explain in a sec. And this one will let you have an extra action. Now when one of these cards goes on the top of the discard deck, because when you play cards you put them in whatever order you want on the discard pile. If this is on the top, no one can take it. It kind of blocks the discard deck entirely. So players will have to take from the draw deck blindly. If you are playing a two-player game, what will happen, the only difference is this token, you turn it over. And if you're the first player, you play like that. And after you've had your go, you flip the token over, and then you will have your 3 actions. And then once you've had your turn, you will pass it to the next person, who will receive it this way round. And so on their go, they'll play, and then after they finish playing, they will turn it over. And on their next turn, they will have 3 actions. So summing up for Aramini Circus. It is a board game that every young child-infested family should take with them on holiday. This game is very, very small. It is very, very portable. It is very, very much aimed at children. The artwork and the quality of the components is fantastic. All the beautiful childlike animals on the wagons of the train. Oh, it's so cute and adorable. The tokens are good. The rulebook is fantastic. It's simply laid out and beautifully laid out and easy to read and in such a wonderful order. It makes simple reading even in French. The problem is the game is not that deep. It is a very shallow, light game. Therefore, it is perfect for young children and maybe old people who don't normally play games, like your parents. So you could probably get your parents and your children together to play this game. It is for 8 years and up, which is, I would say, a good age to start from. You could start younger if you wish to. And it plays very, very quickly within about 20 minutes. Yellow have given it a 2 étoiles, which is 2-star rating out of 4 for its difficulty, which I find strange because when you compare it to Hero Louis, which is a bit more thinky and bluffy and outthinking your other players, they've given that also 2 étoiles sur 4. Bizarre. But this is a hell of a lot lighter because it's just drawing cards and using those cards to buy cards to add to your train and get to the points to win the game. It's not very deep. There's not a lot of strategy and there's not a lot of replay value. You play it a couple of times and it's like fun and then it's dry. The retheming to the circus animals is great. I think it's perfect for this in comparison to Yardmaster, which is kind of very gritty, stark look, but it looks good as well. So this is definitely a game for kids. So don't go thinking that this is the best thing since sliced bread because that's the best thing since sliced bread, or maybe that's the best thing since sliced bread. There's not a lot of choices. Your 2 actions go past pretty quickly. You draw a card, you draw a card. There is a bit of nastiness when you like steal a token away from another player, but it's very mild. And you won't find yourself doing that a lot. It'd be a case of just taking either from the discard pile or taking from the draw pile, and maybe playing your special power cards, which lets you draw 2 cards, or take any card from the discard pile. Those kind of things will happen a lot more than the actual taking of tokens. There was only once when I had like a handful of giraffes and someone took my giraffe token away from me just as I was about to load up a wagon, but apart from that, it's very, very rare. It's a simple, light, cute, adorable game. I'm not going to say much more about it because there's not a lot much more to say apart from I'd prefer to play Uno.
first episode of Rolling Dice and Taking Names with Marty and Tony that I listened to was their Jen Can't episode. But that episode, I laughed and laughed. I was out mowing the lawn. I still remember it. And it was after...
I can imagine you mowing your lawn on your quad, your 4x4 thing. And your neighbours are doing their lawns as well, and they're thinking, what the... He's just killed my cat! I bet you he's killed my cat!
Wow.
You just alienated all of our cat audience, okay?
Well, it's okay, because nobody on the internet likes cats, so I think you're safe.
Why can't we, all on the internet who don't like cats, just live next to each other so we haven't got cats coming in our garden and leaving little brown things? That's what I'd like.